Welcome to Invest Insights. I'm Abby Maloney. I'm joined today by Morley Greene, the Chairman and CEO of Trez Capital. Morley, thank you very much for being here today.
My pleasure, Abby. Glad to join you.
Well, let's dive in. As an entrepreneur and with personal and professional roots in Canada and the US, you have a unique approach to the importance of multiculturalism and diversity. How well do you think Palm Beach's business ecosystem is positioned to embrace a rapidly changing demographic landscape?
I think it's well put. It's great. For some reason, people love to come to the Florida area, the Palm Beach area, especially. You have all the South Americans who come and do business there, the Europeans, Middle East. They all seem to. It's so easy to get to Florida from all of these places. They just come in droves, doing business in the whole area. And Palm Beach is a magnet for all this stuff. They just love being there. All the shopping, the restaurants, the business culture. It's a great place to do business. It really is. Proximity to Miami Beach, proximity to Boca Raton. It's just great. And don't forget, you have all these airports. You have Palm Beach Airport. You have Fort Lauderdale. You have Miami. It's just very accessible.
Excellent. As the real estate market continues to boom in Palm Beach, land availability has become a deterrent for the growth of the market. Do you see redeveloped or repurposed properties as a creative and sustainable alternative for investment in the region? And how is Trez Capital helping to reshape the region in areas with new development potential?
Well, that's a great question, Ab. Land. They stopped making land a long time ago. So you have to reposition existing properties. Older properties have to be redone, reorganized. And we have done several projects in the Palm Beach area where they've taken older buildings, older homes, built apartment blocks, condos, etc. And that's important. So you get a two-story apartment block becomes a 10-story apartment block or condo, and that's really sustainable. Or else they're taking office buildings and making it into residential. That's a big area. So these are very important things that you have to do in a growing market. And land's very expensive. So to the extent that you can go up and that's what you really have to do to make things sustainable today in terms of cost. It's no doubt about that.
In March of this year, the Federal Reserve approved the first interest rate hike in more than 3 years. After having historically low interest rates for such a long period of time, what are some of the expected changes in consumer behavior when it comes to real estate? And how will this impact the growth potential of Palm Beach County in the near to medium term?
Well, we worry about interest rate hikes. There's a psychological factor here also. Rates have been so ultra low, people just are not attuned, to higher rates. And rates are just lower than they have been, I don't know, kind of in my life. I think the concern is that people will not be able to afford as much of a home. They'll have to get less of a mortgage, so that could be a problem. The cost of building apartments or homes will go up because interest rates are higher. And these are all the challenges that we have to overcome in our business. But Abby, we do overcome. We find more creative ways. We take more. We lengthen the term of the mortgage, all that kind of stuff. And what we're really heading towards right now, Abby, unless things change, is more of a normalization of rates as opposed to rates going high. So I think we're coming back to more of a norm as opposed to anything else. And that's the important thing to remember, is that the rates that you see in the last few years are not the rates that were there 15 years ago. So I think we just have to be adjusted to that. We've got to think about it. People may be renting more as opposed to buying more. Maybe a smaller home. What happened to some extent, Abby, was interesting, is that when rates were so low, the starter market went away. People are going to what would be the second home. Now they have to maybe looking at starter homes all over again. But it'll all be adjusted for. I assure you of that.
And obviously, these interest rates have been increased to combat inflation. Can you comment on how the inflation has affected the current investment landscape?
Well, the problem with inflation, what's hit everybody, is no one was ready for it. And so everybody who planned to build a building had a price in mind. And what happened is when they turned around a few months later, 4 or 5 months later, the cost had all gone up. So now they have to readjust for costs. maybe put in more equity, get a bigger mortgage, and that's the impact it's had. But again, we're just dealing with the challenges of life in this area, and and entrepreneurs know how to deal with it. They will deal with it, and it'll all work out. It really will.
And Morley, what role does creativity play in remaining competitive in today's landscape?
Well, that's an excellent question. We try and be creative to make things work, but at the end of the day, everything's got to be back to basics. You got to make sure that you don't overpay for land, you don't overpay for your apartment, you don't overpay for all these things, because when you try and be creative and stretch things out, do things differently, you never know what occurs. So basics are really important, but you are creative, and we try and be creative. That's why we've grown to $4 billion over the last number of years by doing creative things, making things easier for our investors, making things good for our borrowers, and that's our business, making things work. And sometimes you got to be creative at that.
And to round out our discussion today, what are some unique ways that you're fostering creative thinking across your organization now and into the future?
Well, we try and do creative funds where different investors at different levels can join in. We try and do some long-term planning. What we've done a series of open-ended funds on development, so that lets the investors enjoy the development profits that normally they haven't been able to enjoy, and that helps bring down the cost of capital because they're coming in at a cheaper level, so they don't have to charge as much, and that we can pass that savings on to our borrowers, et cetera. That's what we've done. Be more creative across the board.
Thank you very much, Morley. I appreciate our conversation today.
Thank you very much. My pleasure. Have a great day.
That was Morley Greene, the chairman and CEO of Trez Capital. If you enjoyed this conversation, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel to hear more CEOs and thought leaders share their opinions and advice on today's business climate. Until next time, I'm Abby Maloney, and this has been Invest Insights. Thanks for tuning in.